The state of Idaho says the number of COVID shots given to Idahoans nearly equals the entire population. It's 1.7 million doses. But that doesn't mean almost our entire state is inoculated against the coronavirus. In fact, far from it. Only 817,000 are fully vaccinated. But as of today, that 1.7 million total doses includes nearly 72,000 who have also had a COVID vaccine booster shot. And more boosters are on the way. Today, the CDC voted unanimously to allow Moderna boosters at 6 months after vaccination and the Johnson & Johnson booster 2 months after getting vaccinated. Now it's up to the CDC director to sign off on that. While boosters are meant to boost immunity, this news hasn't exactly boosted the mood for Gem State medical providers. It seems this unanimous vote didn't come with much direction in how these boosters would be administered. Here's Katya Stepovic.
Vaccinations are complicated. And in a sense, you can't just say, oh, here's a new vaccine and tell your staff, give it.
Dr. David Peterman, CEO of Primary Health, is still looking for clear guidance from the CDC on the best way to administer the new Moderna and the Janssen booster shots.
We have to learn all the different aspects of how to store the vaccine, how to, in a sense, draw it up in a syringe, and then how do you give it to the patients.
On Thursday, CDC advisors recommended booster doses for Moderna for those 65 and older or those aged 18 to 64 at high risk of contracting COVID or those with frequent potential exposure to the virus. But they only recommend half of the full dose, which turns out complicates things.
Up until now, the syringes that we've all been given by the federal government supplied for Moderna is a bigger syringe and appropriate for, in a sense, the full dose. But it's really too big of a syringe to give this booster dose because you want to be very accurate with this smaller dose. When you give such a small amount, which is actually measured out to be 0.25 milliliters, it's hard to measure that. And these larger syringes make it difficult to be accurate.
The concern with that is either giving too much booster or not enough. While Primary Health has smaller syringes available to accurately measure out 0.25 milliliters of Moderna, other medical providers don't.
Different syringes are typically pretty available, but in today's world, we just don't know. Everything is a little uncertain. It will take some extra steps and precautions to make sure that you're administering it correctly, because we're going to continue the process of vaccinating people with one of their first 2 doses.
Another concern, more vaccine going to waste.
Up till now, we've only given full doses, and each vial has approximately 15 full doses that you use for boostering 1 and 2. Now we're going to give a half dose, and you would think you could give 30 doses, right? It's double the 15. But the rules are you're only supposed to puncture the vial 20 times because beyond that, there are concerns about contamination. So to begin with, we will be wasting vaccine.
With lingering questions and potentially only 1 day away from full booster approval, both Peterman and John Kaiser, Chief Medical Officer of Salter Health, says the CDC failed to give medical providers thorough guidance on the new boosters in a timely manner.
We have a meeting set up on Monday to try and game plan for starting Monday. What are we going to do? What resources do we have? What can we put in place immediately? Do we have to restrict it to certain sites initially to make sure we're doing it right, or can we do it across all of our locations? In everyone's interest, in the CDC's interest, in the healthcare provider's interest. So we are instilling confidence in our patients that this is the best way to do it, and we've got this plan in place, rather than kind of a little more shotgun approach, which unfortunately appears to be what we're doing now.
They release public information, which causes parents or patients, in this case, to ask lots of questions before we, the primary care providers, have all the information and the answers. So you need to give primary care providers an opportunity to train their staff how to appropriately give this vaccine and give it safely.
Wow, this half dose versus a full dose, puncturing the vial 20 or more times. There's a lot of things that we didn't consider with this whole booster thing. But what about this mixing and matching of vaccines? That kind of throw another loop in there?
Well, they were actually supposed to vote on it today, but vaccine advisors on the panel didn't formally vote on that. So that will be taken up by the CDC's director tomorrow. And also on that same note, this doesn't give anyone the go-ahead for the booster shots. The CDC's director will have to give that the green light as well. And Brian, I do want to add that the FDA did send out some guidance regarding the Moderna booster just a couple hours ago, but still, it does not provide any recommendations on what syringe sizes to use. So it's very, very interesting.
Yeah, so a lot still to be worked out. So it's not as they said, here's a vaccine, go give it out. All right, thank you very much, Katya.